It's 7 p.m. It's 7 p.m. on the 31st of January, the last day of January. And beep, 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 beep. It's the Jester special on Mermaids. Who have released a report. Now, here's the interesting thing. You may remember that Mermaids said that we're gonna have specialists come in and help us because we've got to learn from the past, and you know all that cobblers they spouted like 2 months ago. So these people have come in, spent all this time doing this investigation, and this is the report that they've come up with. Now I estimate it's cost them thousands, all right? Because if I went in, it would cost them thousands. So I estimate this has cost them thousands, right? Okay. So I've got a link in the Dubris today to a Substack in which I put the necessary images of the report that you need to see to, do a kind of read-along type thing, reminiscent of 70s childhood programmes, right? A read-along with the Jester. It's glorious. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the portions from this, and then I'm going to tell you what it actually means. So what I'm going to do is translate from the wokish. Okay, from the wokish. And believe me, it's delicious. Okay? Because what we have here is a situation where if you've been long enough in this game, right, you can recognise the infection of critical social justice by the language that they use, and you can read between the lines and sort of give some good idea of what's going on. If I get cut off, I'll do a second video to follow it up. I don't think I will. We'll go through it pretty quickly because I don't want to, bore you, right? When this happens, which is what's happened with universities, the NHS, the public sector, schools, all sorts of other places and organisations, they're infected. You can see it with the crap they put out, right? And generally it's awful. You watch the NHS doing this and the universities declining because of all the crap these wokesters are doing. But this one I will positively enjoy. Bring me sunshine. It's going to be great, right? So what they did was, we got it all wrong. Oh, woe is me. Make us look like we're not bad. And then they got in a couple of extremists, I imagine, who put together a report, charged them a few bob, right, that'll be $8,000, please. It's got to be. It's got to be. There's more than 8 days work here. It's got to be, right? That'll be $8,000. So, so $8,000, and they've come up with this report. So there's about 8 pages of it. The link to the report is all in the Substack. So if you've got it up and you want to do a read along, you can do. If you haven't, I'll go through some of it now. So let us take a look at a few highlights. Okay, so they've got various headings. The first heading is cultural belonging and values. The first thing that they've said they're going to do is collectively articulate who Mermaids seeks to serve in terms of communities in a shared vision and strategy for EDI that is rooted in anti-oppression narratives. Practice, anti-oppression practice, right? What that means is, number one, right, make everything we do about power and oppression so that we can bring on the Marxist utopia. That's the first thing. Second one, operationalise the EDI vision and strategy with tangible goals that are embedded in Mermaids' business plan. That's turn the business plan into a grievance crusade to fight the Holy War. Number 3, develop a more robust EDI policy and statement with clear behaviour frameworks for staff. Behaviour frameworks should detail how staff are expected to create an inclusive environment and how oppressive incidents will be tackled when people do not meet these expectations. That actually means micromanage every interaction and thought that people have by creating a framework of fear and punish those that commit heresy or blasphemy. $8,000. Question 4. Use staff demographic data to identify and address underrepresentations, particularly around disabled, people of colour and trans representation. Develop regular EDI feedback mechanisms, for example, annual staff survey, to better understand, monitor and evaluate the experience of staff from marginalised backgrounds and the inclusivity of the culture at Mermaids, right? That's number 4. What it actually means is divide everyone up into groups and make sure we have the correct percentage of each group for no reason and not even vaguely approaching competency as a criteria, right? that's number 5. Oh no, I've just read the wrong one. Damn it, I have to start again. Have I? No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I've done it right. Number 5, right? I'm going mad. It's too much getting to me, right? Introduce regular opportunities for staff to engage in challenging conversations around trans and racial equality. Alongside this, in collaboration with staff, ensure safe spaces for all staff to talk about marginalised experiences and are fully supported and lent autonomy and routes to hold leadership accountable. Right, that's number 5. What that actually means is give your organisation over to the most aggressive of the CSJ nutters you employ and create ridiculous safe spaces where they cannot be challenged. Number 6. Invest specifically in the development of leadership and management skills, processes and guidance to create inclusive cultures from the point of induction so that staff of colour, disabled and trans and non-binary staff feel valued and a true sense of belonging. It's not even literate, right? That's number 6, which actually means give money to the writers of the staff report. Number 7, right? Okay. Review and publish clear zero-tolerance policies and processes around racist, transphobic and ableist incidents, including supporting examples and reporting routes, which actually means design a complaint system that we can torture each other with for spurious reasons. It gets better, right? Then we get representation and power. Let's do this one. During the EDI visioning process, explore and articulate a shared organisational view as to why representation of the communities Mermaids seeks to serve is integral to Mermaids' organisational purpose. Right, what that means is get people in because of what they say they are, not what they are, and totally ignore merit, competency, and the public sector equality duty. This is real. This is actually real. I can't believe it. Right, okay, number 2. Clearly define and discuss Mermaid's purpose and mission to ensure that it represents advocates and amplifies the voice of trans young people. Well, that means replace the board with another swivel-eyed bunch of bonkloons and usher in a new generation, a new era of incompetence, ensuring Mermaids uses young people to spread the cult. That's 2 and 3. 3 was prioritise the diversification and representation on the board and its senior levels to reflect the intersectional identities of the communities Mermaids seeks to support to ensure that cultural change can be led from the top and lived experience is shaping Mermaids' decisions and services. Okay, right. So number 4, develop clear mechanisms for all staff and particularly junior frontline staff to engage with the board, leadership team and decision-making process, including ways to feedback when these mechanisms have not worked effectively. Right. That's number 4. Right? What it really means is constantly second guess yourself against what the blue-haired nutter who makes the tea wants. Who wrote this shit? 5. Set behaviour and objectives for senior leaders to role model inclusivity and ensure these are reviewed through appraisal and 360-degree process. This is the usual shit there. Right, that's number 6, right? What it actually means is that number 6, number 5? Hang on. That's number 5, right? What it actually means is stipulate every move the leadership worships at the Church of Critical Social Justice and provide a ducking stool if necessary. Number 6. Number 6. Identify clear leads and accountable owners for race and trans equity actions. Ensure that senior leads for anti-racism work undertake leadership and development in racial justice, power, and privilege and white fragility. They're gonna be doomed. It's wonderful. Wonderful. That actually means begin the demise of Mermaid by enforcing cultist and totalitarian theories with menaces. And oh, that's just hysterical. Number 7, acknowledge, thank and allocate appropriate time and reward to staff of colour, non-senior staff who are supporting the development of Mermaid's EDI work. That means give us money for eviscerating the reality you have already failed to grasp. I can't, this is just too good. Right, onwards, this is the next one. Oh God. Processes. Develop a clear, transparent and robust process for handling all forms and levels of oppressive incidents and behaviours. This mechanism should support and centre the person who has experienced harm. You will thank those who report incidents. Thank you. Thank those who report incidents and create learning for the wider organisation. Right? What that really means is emphasise victim garnering grievance gerbils over all else, and then spunk collective blame over everyone's collective faces. Processes number 2. Review HR policies through an EDI lens and supporting guidance for line managers. Communicate policies clearly through the staff handbook and induction process. Review and update HR policies regularly in consultation with staff, actively encouraging staff to raise inequities as part of feedback process. Right? That's number 2. That's create a culture of complaint which will never be investigated impartially and which you will bow to. Oh my God. It's unreal. 3. Update grievances, complaints and disciplinary procedure, policies setting out clear consequences for oppressive, discriminatory or harassing behaviour internally and externally. Right? That means punish unbelievers and people outside the organisation who are unbelievers. Right? That's totalitarianism. These people are nuts. Okay? Number 6, monitor and report on incidents and the action taken to identify patterns, and from that develop strategic solutions to issues identified. That's number 4, which means hunt down resistance with all the zeal of a pack of foxhounds. Whoa, these bunch of twats. Right. Number 5. Review staff recruitment processes from start to finish, looking at job design, advertisement routes and selection process to analyse and amend points at which marginalised participants may be excluded. For example, requirement for a degree or bias in panels. Prioritise removing barriers and encouraging application in current areas of underrepresentation within the communities Mermaids serves. That means... That essentially means eradicate meritocracy by introducing equity, breaching the Equality Act 2010 and the Public Sector Equality Duty. Good luck. 6. Develop inclusive recruitment training and guidance to support this, including on how to recruit for potential not traditional experience. What? So what that actually means is, for God's sake, do not bring anyone in who knows what they're doing. It's real. I'm not kidding. It's real. Yes, real. Right. Let's keep going, shall we? I've got a bit more. Right, so we've got awareness and learning. We're doing all right. Proactively identify and develop meaningful partnerships with people of colour community-led and trans-led organisations in the UK and internationally. This means proactively join with extremist critical social justice organisations globally who only think about power and oppression so they can become fellow grievance miners and make the cult bigger. That's what that means, right? Okay. 2, proactively foster a culture of learning and practice and ensure the board, leadership and all staff undergo a rolling learning programme covering trans and non-binary identities, white fragility, racial equity, power and privilege, microaggressions. Can't get past this shit. Microaggressions. It's got the lot. Microaggressions, intersectional identities. Fat. Twat. Oh, I'm in pain. Intersectional identities. Oh, what else is there? Having challenging conversations with the EDI action planning and commitment setting. Right, that's number 2, which actually means capitulate to cult indoctrination in a number of meaningless and dangerous theories that are designed to create equity and bring on the utopia by looking up your own back passage. That's what it actually means, right? Okay. 3, establish the EDI resource, expertise and lived experience that Mermaids needs and avoid leaning on staff networks and marginalised staff to educate and offer lived experience. Lived expertise. They've got a new one. Lived expertise. Right, that's number 4. No, that's number 3, which means listen to marginalised staff who probably aren't, and only to them based on opinions, and the whinging of lazy victimhood garners idea that experience is a good teacher when it is not. After all, they have the expertise of living, which mean they must be right. This is for real. I can't get over it. Right, so next one. Equip all staff with the tools, knowledge and confidence to understand and apply an intersectional approach in the design and delivery of work, services and projects. For example, create and use a simple equity and inclusion impact assessment tool for mermaids. Right? Just unreal. That's just unreal. That's number 4. What that actually means is tie ourselves up in a matrix of power and oppression so that at any given time someone can claim victimhood status and use that to bully others. That's what it actually means. Okay. 5. Create regular intentional spaces. They're nuts. Intentional spaces for brave conversations. Brave conversations. I've had the brave conversations. You're a twat. By brave conversations, they mean confession, right? To have brave conversations and self-reflective praxis. Praxis, they've actually got it all here, right? And when it means to practice is practice, effectively. Praxis is like a set of rules you'll do things by, which is all about critical social justice garbage. And what it means in practice, in terms of individualised behaviours and for mermaid service delivery, which is 5, what that actually means is have struggle sessions that would make Chairman Mao proud. Brackets, try not to hang anyone. Close brackets. Right? Surreal, isn't it? Explore, right, what's next? Create regular, oh no, I've done that one. Explore opportunities for reverse mentoring for staff, leadership and the board, ensuring that staff with lived experience are valued and adequately compensated for sharing skills and experience, right? Which is listen to the kids whenever possible, which is not reminiscent of Mao's Cultural Revolution at all. Because the kids told us so. And lived experience, blah, blah, blah. Give them money. How much have they paid for this? Right, okay, what we got next? Another one, progression. Review and update policies and processes through an EDI lens, using the shared vision and centering what an equitable, inclusive workplace for marginalised and staff would look and feel like, right? Number 1, that's build a communist regime that mimics the Borg. Right, okay? 2nd, review pay. Review pay, progression, and... it does actually say progression, it does. And development routes through an EDI lens, i.e. proactively explore and address the specific barriers marginalised staff may face in accessing equitable pay and progression, and offer transparency around progression criteria, routes and opportunities. It's just garbage, isn't it? That means pay everyone the same unless some pigs are more equal than others. Thank you, Orwell. Right. Number 3, consider options for objective external support from someone with HR and anti-oppression expertise when required, particularly around race, disability and trans identities. Well, that's treat those who claim... That's oh no, which one is that? Bring in a well-paid cultist that can strip mine the resources for the greater cult and throw disability into the mix so it does not look like we are doing that. That's true, right? Okay. Oh God, it just gets worse. Consider options for objective external support from someone with HR and anti-oppression expertise when required, particularly around race. Yep, we've done that one. Number 4. Collect specific feedback via staff survey and monitor the retention and progression of all staff to identify where marginalised staff may face barriers. That's number 4. Promote the most effective grievance durables according to how much misery they cause others. That's what 4 is really. Number 5. Work with marginalised staff to identify opportunities for development and progression, for example, to practice skills or access to formal, informal networks, mentoring or coaching. Well, again, that simply means treat those who claim victim status by elevating them over others regardless of competency. And then finally on this one, number 6. Ensure that the exit interviews adequately feature equity, diversity and inclusion to establish any barriers to marginalised staff sense of belonging and ability to thrive and develop at Mermaids. What that means is make sure that we open ourselves up to an easy tribunal win for a grievance gerbil by giving them the legal ammunition up front when they leave. Great, fantastic. Next steps. So, number 1, establish a strategic objective relating to EDI for 2022, which what I'm saying is that for number one there, it's make the organisation more of a political lobby group run by ghouls than it is. Right? The second one and the third one on that, working with external consultants, working with operational team, is essentially give the writers of this report money. And number three is also give the writers of this report money. And then the final one, sharing this action plan, is essentially make a public spectacle of yourself by putting this pile of effluent in the public domain. I mean, you have to wonder how much they paid for that wibbling nonsense. And after all this time, the one thing they have not mentioned, considered, and all seriousness, folks, not mentioned or considered, and the one that surely, whilst they're investigated by the Charity Commission, should be the one foremost at their mind above all else. Let's all say it together. Their highest priority should have been safeguarding. And yet they've singularly failed to acknowledge the unbelievable safeguarding failures that have come to the front at Mermaids. The Charities Commission, who are investigating this bunch of charlatans, needs to have this, because the Charities Commission needs to understand what they're about to hand themselves over to. So my prediction is this: if the Charities Commission are captured, we're going to find out mine, and that won't be a pleasant day when we do, they won't do anything against Mermaids. If they're not captured, they will sanction Mermaids so badly that they'll barely be able to function in the charity sector, right? But if they're not sanctioned, and if they aren't sanctioned for the fact that safeguarding should be their primary concern, which they once again have managed to avoid in this pile of bloody effluent, the people that they have placed on the bloody butchering, mutilating conveyor belt, and not one word about safeguarding in this plan for the future, from these bunch of neo-Marxist, neoliberal, self-opinionated, gagging victims. It's safeguarding that should have been their focus. That should have been the first thing in the damn report. Christ on a bike. So, the Charities Commission is either going to get them, or the Charity Commission is just toothless and unfit for purpose. Or this will take them down first. Either way, folks, I think they're done. So let's take joy in the fact that they're done, but let's despair in that they have learned nothing from what has happened to young people that they have put through their bloody machine. Nothing. Not one thing. And that their major concern, when it comes down to it, and they pay money to be told it, is that they need to be seen to be virtue signalling with the rest of these disgusting cultists who are bringing everything to rack and ruin. Now go read it again, have a bit of a laugh, because I'm done with angry today. Bring me sunshine. Off you go, you lovely lot. Go and have a read proper. I'll see you later.